What's up, y'all? This is the Relationships and Chill podcast, episode number 20. And in this episode, we'll be discussing fear and how fear plays a major role in repelling the things that you want to experience. Stay tuned.
You're listening to Relationships and Chill, the podcast for singles and couples about how to find and cultivate the relationship you've always dreamed of, based on trust and honest communication. Why waste your time going through the typical dating obstacle course, only to end up with drama, jealousy, and heartbreak, when you can find the love of your life and live happily ever after? So sit back, chill, and get ready to make relationships great again.
Greetings, everyone. Greetings. Welcome to another edition of the Relationships and Chill podcast. I am your host, Coach R. Anthony, and you know our aim. It is to make relationships great again. We have our co-host in the building, Coach Christina, Lynn. Everybody give it up for her. Coach Christina, say what's up.
Building.
Yes, ma'am. And so today we wanted to talk about fear, the fear of love, fear of allowing yourself to be in love and to truly love someone, because that's really one of the most challenging things that we face as humans is fear, but specifically fear of having our feelings and our expectations disappointed. So a lot of people, that stops a lot of people from actually even entering into relationships, or if they're in a relationship, not exposing and being honest with the person that they're with about their past, about their thoughts, about their present. They're not honest with them because they fear what they will think about them, the true them.
That's right.
So it really hinders progression in a relationship. So a lot of people get stuck here. I run into a lot of women. I was having a conversation yesterday with a lady, and she was telling me that she wants to be in a relationship, but I think, Christina, is a lot of people take the safe route, meaning that a lot of people will settle for what they know they don't want because they can protect themselves a lot better from it. So like you got a lot of people that, that go with the gold diggers, that go like, it's like, the saying that they say, like, it's better to go with the devil that you know than the one that you don't know. Exactly. And so a lot of people will choose something they know is bad for them. A lot of women will say, I like bad boys, because they know that they ain't gonna get them together. So the only thing you have to look for is them getting better, not them getting worse. You know what I mean? So, because they're already at their worst. They're already probably the worst. You know what I'm saying? When you meet them, you already know they ain't no good.
That's
but
right.
You there's comfort in that, and that's a weird thing. There's comfort in that, even though you know that's not the best thing for you. There's comfort in knowing that even though I am with someone that is not the best for me, I know for a fact that this is what they are.
That's right.
As opposed to I get somebody else and have no clue who they are, and then I get disappointed from the fact that they're somebody that I thought they wasn't, or they were.
Have you ever been in a situation where you were with someone and then all of a sudden time went by and you were just like, you know what? I don't know who you are. Have you ever been in that kind of situation?
But see, I can't really. For me, I never really did it like that. Like that wasn't never my thing. I always try to dictate where the relationship should go. By leading the relationship. So, I would. Any woman I was dealing with, I had this philosophy, right? This was my philosophy, that if I go into a woman's life, I'm going to make sure that it's better than when I was in there. It's better now than it was before.
That's
whether
right.
it be through conversation or just spending time and all that kind of stuff, like getting to know each other and doing things that are progressive for the future, something that a woman can use for the rest of her life, not just for that moment. And so my philosophy was quite different from a lot of guys, but I always made sure I protected myself and not really got into relationships. And I don't know if it was because of fear. I just know that I didn't want to be in a relationship until I wanted to be with that specific person. So I was kind of holding myself back, holding myself out to wait for what I got. You know what I mean? I'm glad I did, because I could have been married to somebody or in a relationship with somebody that I didn't want to be with or didn't see myself with, you know, in the future. So I'm glad I got the woman of my dreams. So to help
Hey,
y'all get the people and the man or the woman of your dreams.
that's right. That's right. That's right.
And we're gonna rock this thing on to the end of time.
That's right. And you guys, the way to, well, at least one of the greatest ways I know to get to that woman or man of your dreams is to be your authentic self. Embrace who
Mm-hmm.
you are. The negative stuff, the stuff you can't stand about yourself, embrace it. Accept that that is me right now in this moment, and that is okay. Who I am is just fine. I'm exactly who I'm supposed to be. And, I think one of the things that I've learned, especially now that I'm in a great committed relationship, I think what I'm learning about myself is that exposure, how to be vulnerable,
Mm-hmm.
how to allow myself to be seen. If I'm hurting, if I feel wounded, if there's something in my life that I hid from the world, I am now submitting to my mate, and I'm giving that information to my mate. And I think that when you become vulnerable like that and you expose yourself, it's very, very, very frightening. And but it's honest and it's you. And it really is you. And it's okay to be you. It's okay to set yourself free from hiding. Why hide who or what you are? The fact is that will come out eventually. It will come out eventually, with time. So why not reveal it and be open from the get-go? Just let it be. Just let it be. And if they don't accept that, if they can't accept who you are, if they don't, if there is a rejection there, you cannot allow for other people to dictate how you feel about you. You have to know, okay, you know what? I gave that an honest effort, and I told the truth, and the truth sets me free.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, it's going to set me free.
Absolutely.
And yeah, and I think that's where this fear thing comes from, because we're so afraid of what the other person's going to say. Is there going to be a judgment? Exposing myself, is that going to be something that, oh my goodness, now I'm kind of like the word defiled, or I'm not good enough, or I'm
Right.
dirty, or
You kind of self-judge.
Yeah, I know people who lie about
Or
the stupidest
self-condemn.
stuff.
Self-condemn, really.
Yeah, like I'm talking about the stupidest stuff. Like, how many partners have you been with? Like,
Right.
why can't you be honest about that? Like, okay, you've had how many? You had 50?
Hey.
No, I'm just kidding. But how many? Like, just there's nothing wrong with just, this is me. Yes, I have. I mean, hey, this is what it is. It's been 3, it's been 4, it's been 12, it's been 20, whatever it is. Just be you.
I think like with that, especially for women, it makes women feel as though they shouldn't be wanted. I had a conversation recently, and I finally met somebody, Christina, Latrice, Lynn, coach, that has over 100.
Wow.
Hey, let me get. I
Wait,
found
get the
it.
claps
Yeah, I
on.
got the clap on. There we go. I found somebody finally that has over 100 bodies. A woman that has over 100 bodies. Matter of fact, she has way more than that. But nevertheless,
My good, what?
yeah, more than that. But
More than
nevertheless, one of the things that that struck me was the fact that the things that she kept experiencing presently was a result of what she had happened back in the past. And that chain of events that happened to her made her more sexually, I guess, quote unquote, liberated, or made her more sexual, because she said she had got to the point after something had happened to her that she was like, you know what, forget it, I might as well just go all out and just full throttle it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But now, as that train is starting to slow down,
Your choice of words. That was funny.
Yeah, that train's starting to slow
Throttle
down. Full throttle. She went all the way in. But hey, listen. Now that the train is starting to slow down and she's getting older, and she realized that, okay, all guys are wanting me for is this thing. But that's the thing she's been strongest in. That's the thing that she decided that she was going to give away freely.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? So now all of a sudden, now that you're looking at things different, the energy that you gave off is still present around you. You know what I mean? So guys are seeing that sexual energy. A lot of times women don't really recognize how strong a man's ability to be aware of a woman's energy is. Like, women really don't understand. A man, we have been trained since we were kids to recognize women's energy, from your mom to your aunts to your cousins. You're surrounded by females. You're surrounded by women. So you're constantly getting their ebb and flow and how they view things and how they're feeling, and you can curtail yourself to their energy. And that's what men learn for a long time. Men learn that for a long time. So at the end of the day, her fear was that if she told someone her number, that they wouldn't love her because of the things that she did in the past.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And but she lived there in the past. Therefore, she will continuously attract the same type of guys and add more to the number and add more to the shame.
Exactly.
Because she's living in the fear of, well, if they don't want me, and then going back to, well, since nobody don't want me, I might as well just give it up.
Exactly.
To just any old body. You know what I mean?
That's right.
But, there's that scenario where people are afraid of the past, of people knowing their past, and they fear that, and that blocks them from getting true love because they don't think that true love exists.
That's right. Oh, and you know what? Now that's a huge issue, I think, especially for our generation and generation after us, is that, there's this ideal of what true love is, and that is not possible for most. And that's not true. Just as you found the love of your life, others can find the love of theirs. But it is all about
truth.
Yes, it starts there.
Right there. You said it with true love. You can't have true love without truth. So
you can't.
Anybody that tells me that, I would say they're not living in truth. Because when you're living in truth, like, okay, for instance, my friends, right? I tell, obviously, my wife the truth, but I'm saying, like, before I met my wife, any of my friends, I would be telling them the exact truth. Like, you know how it is. You talking to your homegirls, and then y'all talk about a scenario or a sexual thing that happened, and you all in the details. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, you all telling the exact details of how it was, what happened, woo. You're very honest with that person, and that friendship, because of the degree of that friendship, you're able to be honest with that person, and it just keeps on growing, just keeps on becoming better. So if you can't do that with your partner, who you're going to be with for the rest of your life, but you can do that with your friend, you're going to have some problems.
That's right.
Because you're not really in true love. If you can't be true to yourself and true to the person you're with, and they can't be true to you, then the relationship is not true.
And don't y'all want a best friend, like, as your partner? Like, don't you want to be able to just, like, yes, this is me, and then like, oh, well, this is me, and like, it's just the best feeling in the world. Like, I know I got plenty of faults and things that I wouldn't want my mama to know about me. Like, I got stuff that I done did. Like, my mom, outside of my man, is my closest friend.
Right.
Like, my mama know. Like, she know a whole lot of stuff that other people be like, oh, you done told your mama that? Yes, I did. I told my mama that. So, but so if I could be that candid with her, don't you think my man deserved the same kind of thing for me? That same honesty, that same vulnerability. Like, you have to, you give it. Just go ahead. Like, release it. And you know what? The worst thing that can happen is that person find out, you know what? You're not for them and I'm not for you. Like, okay, well, that's fine.
But what I found with that is, like, really attracts like. It really is. When you start opening up the truth about who you are, and that person is vulnerable enough to open it up to you, you'll realize how similar you are. Because one thing, I'm gonna tell you this now. This is the truth. Now, this might hurt, but a lot of women that get cheated on lie.
Oh yeah.
And I ain't talking about just a big. See, that's the thing. Like, people try to quantify what it means to, like, this equates to this. Like, okay, he cheated, but okay, yeah, I lied about this and I lied about that. Like, you can't quantify it because that's your issue, and that's that other person's issue. You can't say that because their issue is your view of that issue is so much this way, and lies are a little bit more, you can cover those up a little bit more. Like, you can excuse those a little bit more, but you can't excuse cheating them. But it's the same thing. It's not knowing something that the person is doing.
That's it.
That's the bottom line to it. It's not knowing something that the other person is doing.
And that does, like, if you think about that, does sting. Because if you think about how many times, and I don't mean like you, but I mean just you as in all of us, done said, okay, I'm gonna call you back in 5 minutes,
right,
and I don't call you back for 15. Or how many times it's happened where, maybe even something more serious. Like, remember what I told you about with my ex-husband? I did not disclose how much money I was making. Remember?
But just with I want to interject this. Even with the numbers, like the numbers of partners, like if you lie about that, you have started the relationship off in a lie.
Exactly. And so, and that was a hard thing for me to look at, because I had to look in that mirror and be like, yeah, you're accountable. You got to be accountable for your actions. I was thinking, oh, well, this way I got this little money on the side. I can help my family do this and do that, and there won't be no problem. Well, yeah, that's a problem. That started what ended up evolving into this guy who was cheating on you. So
because
it's so important.
In one way, you were cheating on him in another way.
Exactly, because I did not give him the full disclosure
exactly
of how much I was making, and that's not what you do in a partnership. Not
in a real relationship. Not in a real relationship.
And I was married. That wasn't even my boyfriend. That was my husband. Right. So you and it's just so real. Like, we are human beings, and we will all make mistakes. We will all do things that we think is silly and like, well, why did I do that? But the fact is, you have to still stand up and say, you know what? He's not the only one. I cheated him in that way. And I have to, and I did. And I remember apologizing, for doing that, because, I have no right to judge him for anything that he did. I have the right to judge whether I am going to choose or tolerate to be in a relationship with a man
who have the right to
behavior.
Judge. I mean, you have the right to judge. Honestly, you have to judge. The word judge just means to know, to be able to decipher. To be able to decipher right from wrong, good or bad, up and down, left or right, red or black. You know what I mean? It just means to
criticize would be the better word.
Criticize, condemn is really the term that I use. Yeah, I don't really, because a judge just says, okay, based on the evidence, this is what I think happened.
This is what it is.
Yeah. This is what I think happened based on the evidence, based on what I know about this field. And we do that all the time. Like, if you're a makeup artist, you choose the best makeup that fits for what you want to do. You choose the best clothes you judge everything.
That's right. That's right. We're gonna judge this episode.
People judge this episode. Good episode. People judge this podcast. Like, you know what I mean? Like, people judge all the time. Now, if it's for you or it's for not for you, that's still judgment.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's still judgment. Now, that's condemning and saying it sucks, that's a whole different thing, because for you it may, but for somebody else it may not. And that's cool too. You have to I take all of it. I take criticism, I take judgment, I take condemnation, I take it all, because I live in neutrality. We talked about this before.
Oh yeah.
So whatever comes to me, I'm not trying to be swayed to either direction. Not trying to be too positive or too negative or anything. I am in neutrality. I am in the pocket of being at peace, and whatever happens, I need to be able to observe how it feels, how it looks, what it's telling me, what is the story telling me. And that is the way to move out of fear.
That's right.
That's the way to move out of fear, is to move into neutrality, because we get so heavily sensitive and favored on one thing or another. The way we want to feel, the way a relationship should be, the way things should be, and the way things could be. And we get so caught up in all these things, we're not even observing what we're having coming into our life at the present moment.
That's right.
And the only way you can do that is through neutrality. You can't even recognize fear being in fear.
What are steps that we can take to get to that middle ground, that middle way, that state of
But
neutrality?
let me ask you a question, because you did say something earlier, and I wanted to ask you. So with you said that with like in the situation you're in now, that there was that fear of being vulnerable.
Oh yeah.
How did you? How are you coping with that? How, have you? Do you feel like I'm here? I've arrived at this place where I can be completely vulnerable in my relationship.
I think to be honest with you, what I do is I just say, be your authentic self. I talk to
Mm-hmm.
myself. Like if I'm feeling anything, if I have emotions that I'm kind of hiding from him,
Mm-hmm.
like I can feel myself like going to that place where I'm just, you know,
Well, how do
I'm
you
not
know you're being your authentic self?
because I know what is released from me feels so good. Like
So it's based on a feeling.
yeah, I kind of base it on, yeah, exactly. Like how,
Mm-hmm.
like, do I feel that what I'm giving is who I am at this moment, and I
Mm-hmm.
just try to relate to that. That's exactly the way I deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? It's so much easier now, like for me, but maybe that's because of my own stuff that I do on my own personal journey. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's what it is, but for me, it's so much more easy to just be, because at the end of the day, the worst thing that can happen is the person say, you know what, you're not what I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not, and if you think about it, that's not bad at all. Because if I'm not what the person's looking for, then okay, so be it. And let me continue on in my journey. Like,
Right.
like at the end of the day, that's not the greatest loss in the world. It's not. And I think people just, they'd be so afraid of just that one um area of judgment or criticism or
Right.
whatever the
And they
case may
protect it
be.
and hide it. They protect that thing and
Yeah.
squeeze the life out of it. You know what I
But it's
mean?
not that big of a deal. It's just like, okay, well, maybe they won't like me. Like I didn't know if when I spoke about my own marriage, and the mistakes that I've made on relationships and chill, if people would accept it or if they would look at me
Mm-hmm.
differently. Like it's nerve wracking for people to open up in that way when you know that you share this blame.
Mm-hmm.
And especially something as dark as divorce, because divorce is something that most people look down upon. It's like you married and then you divorced, and
Well, that's
if
why we created this channel, because if you listen to what we telling you, I'm telling you, you ain't gonna have to go through no divorce.
I'm telling you, you
Yeah,
won't. You
you
really
won't.
won't. If I would have knew then what I know now, see, and you guys, our Anthony didn't come into my life until after my divorce. I didn't get to know him until after. If he would have been my friend before I would have had a divorce, I guarantee you we would not have divorced. That's how, because it's you, if you have two people that are committed to work together, guess what? You can achieve anything. You
Mm-hmm.
can overcome anything. You can be anything. But it has to be two working parts. If there's just one working part, you're in trouble.
Mm-hmm. That's like
But
walking
if
on
you,
one leg.
oh yeah, it's like walking with one leg, and you are in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
But if you've got two people that still have a willingness to work, guess what?
It's
You
gonna
will
work.
be successful. It's gonna work. It's gonna work. And that's why we here at Relationships and Chill. See, now I get to, I get to be open and vulnerable and exposed.
And it's the
And
best feeling, right?
it's the best feeling in the world, because when you do that, it's just like, you know what, yeah, this happened to me, or yes, I did this, or
Mm-hmm.
and you know what? It's me. It's
Right.
me. My mother loved and accept me as I am.
Exactly.
And there is, and
But
you know how
but
they say there is
let me.
nothing like a
The
mother's love?
most important thing is you love and accept yourself as you are,
Exactly. But
because
but but my mother didn't get to know me
she didn't get
until
to
I
know that.
did.
Oh,
Until I
well, yeah,
loved and
yeah, absolutely.
accepted me. It happened first in me before my mama could ever get to mama. You talk to mama and she'll tell you in a minute. I didn't know Chrissy growing up. I ain't know nothing.
Right.
I tried, but I couldn't get. But I know my baby now. Now honey, it ain't nothing you can tell me about my child. I know. I already know. you know.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
it took me embracing that. It took me accepting that. It took me knowing, like, oh, you know what? This is who you are. And
Mm-hmm.
guess what? I like it.
Right.
I like it. I like who you are. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I love who you're growing into. I love where you're going. I love where you're being. I just love who you are.
Right. And that's what it's all about. So don't let fear stand in the way of really just love. You know what I mean? And we're gonna do another episode about self-love, because from the perspective that we're going to bring it from, because how can you love? Everyone loves themselves. There is no person on this earth that does not love themselves.
Right.
It's just more so about self-awareness. What could you be doing better with yourself and about yourself and for yourself?
And that's contrary to popular belief, because a lot of people think that people who commit suicide didn't love themselves.
Right. It's because other people, they felt that other people didn't love them.
Exactly. And there is a difference.
There's a huge difference. So,
absolutely.
You know, we're going to tackle that, but just make sure that you are understanding that you don't have to be ashamed of who you are once you accept the fact that you didn't know what you know now.
That's right.
You don't have to be ashamed for not knowing. But you should definitely be ashamed for not exposing and not understanding and not trying to figure out who you were, because if you don't, you're going to repeat the same cycles. You're going to be the same person every year over and over until your last days. So it's very important to go back and look at yourself up until this point too, and say, you know what, like, I suck at this. I'm not the best at this. You know what I mean? I got to be more honest. I got to be more forthcoming. I can't hide, because what you hide will come to light, and it will be the reason why that thing ends, why the relationship ends, why things don't work out. It's the very thing that you're trying to hide. And I learned this through Relationships and Chill. Like, the more I give what I have for that day or for that episode, the more people listen, the more people come, because I'm giving what I have. I'm being vulnerable. It's like how me and my wife is creating a relationship with the audience.
That's right.
It's just that I'm being very transparent. This is how I am on a daily basis. And so it's important to rule out that fear and just put it out there. Just be who you are, because who you are is speaking, even if you're not.
Even if you're not. And everybody, like, you know, one thing I can truly say as someone who is not only your friend but family, I know, you know, who you are here on our show is who you are in life, you know, and that is special. That is spectacular. You know, the same advice and the love that he gives to all of you guys as our audience, he gives it to all of us, all his friends, his family. He is committed. He is committed to see other people happy. And that is why Relationships and Chill is here. That is the reason why this whole concept even came up. He wants other people to have the kind of love and relationship that he has. Like, this is a part of who he is. And he wants the very best for all of you guys, including me. Like, he gives me plenty of advice all the time. Candace, he gives her plenty of advice all the time, because he wants us all to have that fullness of love in our lives and in our relationships. And that's what we are here to do. That's what, you know, what is going on behind the scenes is always about, you know, what can we do to serve our audience? That's
Absolutely.
what it's about.
That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. And the same goes for you. Like, you have a heart for the people. You are like I said in the first episode. Listen, you can make somebody believe that they can literally fly, and they'll jump off of a roof. Say, hey, and then when they either fly or fall, they're gonna say, Christina Lynn, Coach Christina Lynn told me to do it. I had to try it. I had to give it a shot.
Cookies, baby.
I had to give it a shot. She told me I could fly, and I tried it. I thought she meant like literally fly. She meant like in life, in general. Okay, I figured it out now. So that's Coach Christina Lynn. Like, hey man, you got the love what we putting on here, but we're not gonna take up too much of your time. But I did want to say, you know, fear of the future too. Like, people fear a future. People fear being vulnerable and being heartbroken. And that is one of the worst things that you can experience, because it traps you into accepting things that you can control. And life is no fun when you can control everything. You know, some things are good to be. Some things are, you know, in life we're vulnerable anyway. At any moment, we're so fragile. Our life, it's such a fragile thing. Life is. So you're gonna be vulnerable to something. at least you can control who you're going to be vulnerable to. That's one good thing about it. You can control that. But, you know, at the same time, you can't try to control love in the sense that once you want that, if you want that, you have to follow the steps. You have to do the work. You have to open yourself up to being a student of love. Because it teaches you. It tells you, hey, listen, this is what you need to do. You need to tell her this. You need to tell him that. You need to tell him the truth. And then every time you don't do what love is telling you to do, you move further into fear.
That's right.
And that's the truth.
So true. That is, and you guys, in fear is a roadblock all around. It doesn't matter what area of life. Like obviously our our focus is on relationships, but just in general, it will paralyze you and you will not move forward, and who wants to do that? We're not here to do that. We are here to move forward and progress and expand.
Absolutely. So let's keep expanding.
Let's go.
Well, that's been today's episode of Relationships and Chill. Coach R. Anthony, Coach Christina Lynn. You can find us on Instagram at Caviar's Queen, right? Christina Lynn. Yep.
Now it's Coach.
Oh yes, Coach.
Hey,
I keep on forgetting.
Christina
I put that
Lynn,
in there every time. I'll be like Caviar's Queen, and I'll be like, the first when I put that C in, it says Coach Christina Lynn, and I remember.
That's right.
Coach Christina Lynn. My apologies. Apologies. Forgive me, please.
And everybody at home, we want to say thank you for winding down with us too, because we really hope you all stick around. We love you guys and appreciate.
Hey, give us some feedback too. Like, let us know what y'all think. We are working. We're getting better. You can see we getting it down to like 30-something minutes. You know what I'm saying? Hey. I hope it's been entertaining and enjoyable. I hope you guys learned something. That's been today's episode. I think this is episode 20.
Wow.
Yeah, so it makes, I think it's 19 or 20. 19 or 20. It's going to be one of the two anyway. We'll catch you guys on the next go round. Relationships and Chill. You can find us at all the places that the lady is going to say on the outro. Y'all have a good whatever it is where you are, and much love, peace, and blessings.
Hey.
And we out. Right? We out?
We out.
Okay.
Thanks for listening to Relationships and Chill. For more information on cultivating the relationship of your dreams, please follow us on Instagram or Facebook at Relationships and Chill, or subscribe to our YouTube channel at Relationships and Chill TV. You can also visit our website at www.relationshipsandchill.com. Together, let's make relationships great again.